you just want to go to like the government's website and you look up what harm reduction is on SAMHSA, they'll say harm reduction is a practical and transformative approach that incorporates community-driven public health strategies, including prevention, risk reduction, and health promotion to empower people who use drugs and their families with the choice to live healthy, self-directed, and purpose-filled lives. The problem with that is that you cannot live a healthy and purpose-filled life if you're high on fentanyl. It just doesn't, that doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist. So I'm not 100% sure what their definition of a purposeful, self-fulfilled life is when you're actually using fentanyl every 2 hours and living in a tent on the street, right? So the idea is to reduce harm, not eliminate it, and to also keep you alive long enough in the hopes that you find the miracle of recovery. That was the original intent of harm reduction. But there's now alternative definitions and alternative interpretations of harm reduction that include just supporting drug users indefinitely, no matter what, because we know you don't want to get clean. I had a CEO of the largest addiction treatment provider in San Francisco tell me, and I'll quote her. I memorized the quote. I couldn't believe it. She told me, she said, there are 17 million people struggling with addiction in the United States. None of them want to get clean, so we should just support them. And that person's been clean and sober and enjoys sobriety for the last 30 years. And she told me that. And that was really, really frustrating for me to hear, because that to me is a radical interpretation of harm reduction. That's not even harm reduction anymore. You're just like supporting someone's drug use and you're basically working towards legalizing drugs. And, if that's the road we go down in this country, then so be it. But get ready. If you legalized fentanyl today and made it available over the counter or at a pain clinic, and if you guys remember, for people that were around in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, if you remember pain clinics, pill mills, you used to be able to walk into a pain clinic and the doctor would write you a script and you could walk out with like 80 milligram Oxycontin tablets. And 20 million people got addicted to Oxycontin that way. 20 million. And now we're sitting at 17 to 20 million in the United States right now. And if you legalized fentanyl now, first of all, two things would happen. One, you'd have millions of more people get addicted because now it's legal and they're like, why not? I'll try it. And now once you're hooked, you can't function. You can't function. And two, do you really think that the Sinaloa cartel, is going to take their ball and go home? Are they just going to say, oh, well, you legalized fentanyl, so you know what? We're just going to pivot and sell avocados instead. We're done. Or are they going to come up with one of the other 24 derivatives of illicit fentanyl that are even stronger and market that for even cheaper? So you really have to think this through, and people don't think it through because they're stuck in this whole ideology that this body autonomy thing, that whatever you choose to put in your body is your own business, but when you're out on the street, living in a tent, stealing to support your addiction, pooping on the street, and having a psychotic break on the street in full view of everyone, and when kids have to walk through that to go to school, that is no longer, now that person is violating someone else's civil liberties, let's put it that way, and they need to be held accountable for that.